Hello and welcome back to Stitch Chemistry, the channel where I share the results of my yarn experiments. In this video, I will be sharing 8 full skein stitch swatches for Bernat blanket yarn in the color Oceanside. For these swatches, I used 5.3 ounce skeins and the recommended size 8mm hook. First, we have the single crochet swatch. To help make the sizes of these swatches easier to compare, each swatch has 30 stitches per row. The single crochet swatch had 30.8 rows, and the finished rows measured 14 by 15.5 inches or 36 by 39 centimeters. I also included all of the skeins' weights for these swatches. Although the skeins are listed as being 5.3 ounces, all the skeins I used weighed slightly more than that. I wanted to include the actual skein weight because the weight will affect the size of the swatch. Next, we have the moss or linen stitch. I ended up making 2 swatches in this stitch because I noticed while making my first swatch that the sections of navy blue were very small. I checked the other skeins I had, and their navy blue sections were larger, so I decided to remake this swatch and not use the skein with the short sections of navy blue for any more swatches. Here you can see the color length difference between the 2 swatches. On the first swatch, I could only get 1 stitch per navy blue section, while in the second swatch, I could get 2 or 3 navy blue stitches. Although the sections of navy blue were short, the first swatch did have a nice diamond plaid-like pooling pattern that I thought looked nice. The second moss stitch swatch was 40.25 rows. The measurements for the completed rows of the swatch are 13 by 18.5 inches or 33 by 47 centimeters. They are difficult to see, but inside the red circles are red stitch markers marking where there are factory knots in this skein. I always mark any factory knots because they can affect the layout of the colorway. Because this colorway has short lengths of color, the knot didn't noticeably change the colorway layout. I ended up using 2 skeins to make these swatches, so all swatch photos that come from this skein also have the red circles showing the locations of the factory knots. The half double crochet swatch had 23.6 rows. The size of the finished rows was 14.5 by 14 inches or 37 by 36 centimeters. The double crochet swatch is 16.9 rows, and the size of the finished rows is 16 by 16 inches or 40 by 40 centimeters. Next, we have the triple or treble crochet stitch. When I make the triple crochet swatch, I split the swatch between the classic and linked versions of this stitch. In this swatch, rows 1 to 5 are linked triple crochet stitches, and rows 6 to 12 are in the classic triple crochet stitch. As you can see, the classic version of this stitch is much wider than the linked version. The linked section is 15 inches or 38 centimeters wide, and the classic section is 17 inches or 43 centimeters wide. Here is a close-up of the different triple crochet stitches. The linked triple crochet stitch, which is shown below the red line, doesn't have any gaps between stitches, which is why those rows aren't as wide as the classic stitch. The granny stripe swatch is 16.1 rows, and the size of the finished rows is 16 by 13.5 inches or 41 by 34 centimeters. This swatch has some color pooling with vertical stripes of color. You can see that there was a slight adjustment in the colorway layout with the factory knots, since the stripes slightly shift over above the top stitch marker. This classic granny square swatch does not have any chains between the clusters. The swatch is 8.5 rows, and the size of the completed 8 rows which are the rows inside the red box, are 14 by 14 inches or 36 by 36 centimeters. The solid granny square swatch is 7.75 rows, and the size of the completed 7 rows inside the red box is also 14 by 14 inches or 36 by 36 centimeters. Here are all 8 swatches together. Please note that these are not adjusted to be accurately sized in comparison to each other. If you like this colorway or have a favorite swatch, please let me know in the comments. If you would like to see my other yarn experiments, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for watching.